There's a place where you can literally see tomorrow from today. Russia imports camels from Australia, and half of all humans live inside one giant circle in Asia. I've got 30 geography facts that'll make you question everything. Fact number 30, Saudi Arabia imports camels from Australia. The desert country that invented camel culture imports camels from Australia. Here's why. Australia has the world's largest wild camel population, over 1.2 million. They were brought in the 1840s for exploration, then released when cars arrived. They thrive so well that Australia now has purebred camels, while Middle Eastern ones are often crossbred. So Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and the UAE buy premium Australian camels for racing and breeding. It's like Japan importing sushi from Peru, and it gets even weirder. Fact number 29. There's a town in Norway where dyeing is illegal. Longyearbyen banned dyeing in 1950. Why? The permafrost prevents bodies from decomposing. If you're terminally ill, you're sent to the mainland because they literally can't bury you. Graves from the 1918 flu pandemic still contain preserved, infectious viruses. The ground is so frozen that nature's recycling program doesn't work. Death isn't illegal here, but staying dead definitely is. Fact number 28. Australia is wider than the moon. The moon's diameter is 2,159 miles. Australia's width is 2,485 miles. That big island with kangaroos is literally wider than the thing orbiting our planet. If you drove across Australia, you'd cover more distance than the moon's entire diameter. We sent people to the moon before we fully explored the Australian outback. Fact number 27. You can stand in 4 U.S. states simultaneously. Four Corners Monument, Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico all meet at one point. You can do jumping jacks and hit a different state with each limb. It's the only place in America where 4 states converge. Sure, it's in the middle of the desert, but you can say you've been to 4 states without getting back in your car. Fact number 26. Mount Everest isn't actually the tallest mountain. If you measure from sea level, yes, Everest wins at 29,032 feet. But measure from the mountain's base, Mauna Kea in Hawaii is taller at 33,500 feet. Most of it is just underwater. And if you measure the farthest point from Earth's center, Mount Chimborazo in Ecuador wins because Earth bulges at the equator. Depending on your definition, Everest might not even medal. Fact number 25. Half of humanity lives inside one circle in Asia. Draw a circle around eastern China, Japan, Korea, the Philippines, Indonesia, and parts of India. That's about 4 billion people. The rest of the entire planet? Also about 4 billion people. Half of humanity crammed into an area smaller than Africa. Asia said personal space is optional. Fact number 24. The Dead Sea is so salty you literally cannot sink. The Dead Sea is 34% salt, almost 10 times saltier than the ocean. Your body just bobs like a cork whether you want it to or not. But here's the kicker. It's also the lowest point on Earth's surface at 1,410 feet below sea level. You're floating in super salty water at the deepest natural hole on the planet. Just don't get any in your eyes. It burns like liquid fire. Fact number 23. Canada has more lakes than the rest of the world combined. Canada has somewhere between 879,000 and 2 million lakes, depending on how you count. That's about 60% of all the world's natural lakes. Canada has 31 lakes bigger than the entire country of Belgium. The Great Lakes alone contain 21% of the world's fresh surface water. Canada basically hoarded all the lakes. Fact number 22. Africa is bigger than China, USA, India, Japan, and all of Europe combined. Your world map has been lying to you. The Mercator projection makes Africa look way smaller than it actually is. Africa is 11.7 million square miles. You could fit China, the entire United States, India, Japan, and most of Europe inside Africa with room to spare. If you thought Africa was roughly the same size as Greenland on your map, Africa is actually 14 times larger. Fact number 21. Russia has 11 time zones, but France has 12. Russia is the world's largest country, stretching across an entire continent. So how does France beat it? Plot twist. France isn't just mainland Europe. When you count all its overseas territories, French Guiana, Réunion, French Polynesia, France's territory spans the entire globe. While you're having lunch in Paris, someone in French Polynesia is still in yesterday evening. Fact number 20, there's an underwater waterfall near Mauritius. Off the coast of Mauritius, it looks like the ocean is being sucked into an abyss. But it's an optical illusion. Sand and silt getting dragged by currents down the underwater slopes. From above, it looks exactly like someone pulled the drain plug on the ocean. Mother Nature is creating her own special effects. Fact number 19, Antarctica is technically a desert. Deserts are defined by precipitation. Antarctica receives less than 2 inches per year in its interior. That makes it the largest desert on Earth, bigger than the Sahara. It's a frozen desert with 90% of the world's ice, yet it barely snows. The air is so cold and dry that moisture can't form. You could die of dehydration in Antarctica while surrounded by more fresh water than any other continent. Fact number 18, there are sailing stones in Death Valley that move by themselves. In Racetrack Playa, massive boulders, some weighing 700 pounds, slide across the desert, leaving trails behind them. Scientists discovered that rare combinations of ice, water, and wind create thin ice sheets overnight. When the ice melts and breaks up, wind pushes the ice sheets, which push the rocks. The stones literally sail across the desert without anyone touching them. Fact number 17, there's a blood-red waterfall in Antarctica. Blood Falls looks exactly like blood pouring out of a glacier. It's not blood. It's iron-rich salt water from a subglacial lake sealed beneath the ice for 2 million years. When this ancient water hits oxygen, the iron oxidizes instantly, turning bright red. Even wilder, scientists discovered microbes living in this sealed, dark, freezing, super salty lake with zero oxygen. Life found a way in the most impossible conditions. Fact number 16, there's a point in the Pacific where you're 1,600 miles from any land. It's called Point Nemo. If you're there, the nearest land in any direction is 1,600 miles away. You're literally closer to astronauts on the International Space Station than to another human on land. Space agencies use this area as a spacecraft cemetery, crashing defunct satellites here because there's nothing to hit. Fact number 15, Lake Hillier in Australia is bright pink and no one knows exactly why. This isn't filtered water. Lake Hillier is genuinely bubblegum pink. Scientists think it's caused by algae, bacteria, and salt-loving microorganisms that produce pink pigments. But the exact process isn't fully understood, and the color stays pink even when you take the water out. Other pink lakes lose their color when removed. Lake Hillier just stays pink. Fact number 14, there's a place in Venezuela where lightning strikes 280 times per hour. The Catatumbo lightning occurs where the Catatumbo River meets Lake Maracaibo. For up to 160 nights per year, lightning storms erupt with up to 280 strikes per hour for 10 hours straight. That's nearly 1.2 million lightning strikes annually in one location. It happens because methane from oil deposits and moisture create perfect electrical storm conditions. Sailors use this as a natural lighthouse for centuries. Fact number 13, the Danakil Depression in Ethiopia looks like another planet. This place has sulfur springs, acid ponds, lava lakes, and temperatures regularly exceeding 120 degrees Fahrenheit. It sits 410 feet below sea level. The landscape is neon yellow, green, and orange because of sulfur deposits and acidic hot springs. NASA scientists study it as an analog for what early Earth might have looked like. You could film a sci-fi movie here without changing anything. Fact number 12, there are underwater forests that are 8,000 years old. Off the coast of Alabama, about 60 feet underwater, there's a cypress forest preserved under ocean sediment. Hurricane Katrina exposed it in 2005. These trees fell during the last ice age when sea levels were 400 feet lower. They're so well preserved that when scientists cut into them, they still smell like fresh cypress. Marine life has colonized this ancient forest. Fact number 11, the Eye of the Sahara looks like a target from space. The Richat structure in Mauritania is a 30-mile wide circular formation that looks like someone carved a bullseye into the desert. Scientists thought it was a meteorite crater, but it's actually a deeply eroded geological dome. The rings are different types of rock that eroded at different rates. Astronauts use it as a landmark because it's so distinctive from orbit. Fact number 10, there's an island split between two countries, 21 hours apart. The Diomede Islands consist of Big Diomede, Russia, and Little Diomede, USA, separated by just 2.4 miles. Because the international date line runs between them, Big Diomede is 21 hours ahead. You can stand on Little Diomede, look across the water, and literally see tomorrow. During the Cold War, this was the ice curtain. Fact number 9, Vatican City, you can walk across it in 40 minutes. The world's smallest country is 0.17 square miles. Vatican City has about 800 residents, its own postal system, radio station, and railway. You could jog across the entire nation in under 10 minutes if security didn't stop you. Despite its size, it's an absolute monarchy where the Pope has complete power. It can lock its gates at night, which it does. Fact number 8, Turkey is on 2 continents at once. Istanbul literally straddles the Bosphorus Strait, which divides Europe and Asia. You can eat breakfast on the European side, take a 20-minute ferry and have lunch in Asia. Same city. About 3% of Turkey's land is in Europe, but that tiny portion contains Istanbul and 15% of the population. Some people commute between continents daily for work. Fact number 7, there are more pyramids in Sudan than Egypt. Egypt has about 138 pyramids. Sudan has over 255. The Nubian pyramids are smaller and steeper, but there are nearly twice as many. Ancient Nubia had powerful kingdoms that adopted Egyptian pyramid building. They're less famous because they're harder to reach and weren't marketed to tourists. Egypt got all the PR while Sudan quietly holds the pyramid crown. Fact number 6, the Netherlands-Belgium border runs through houses. The village of Barle is split between Belgium and the Netherlands in the most confusing way. There are 30 Belgian enclaves inside the Netherlands, plus Dutch counter-enclaves inside those Belgian ones. Border markers run through living rooms, bedrooms, and restaurants. Historically, if your front door was in one country, that's where you paid taxes. Some restaurants exploit this. The Belgian side stays open later because Dutch closing time laws don't apply there. Fact number 5, there's a US point where 4 time zones meet. At 4 corners, you're potentially in 4 different time zones depending on the season. Arizona doesn't observe daylight saving time, except the Navajo Nation within Arizona does. So depending on the time of year, you're in 3 or 4 different times simultaneously. You could show up an hour early for appointments because you forgot which part of Arizona you were in. Fact number 4, there's a Chinese city bigger than most countries. Chongqing has an urban population over 30 million people. That's more than all of Australia, more than Texas, more than all of Scandinavia combined. If Chongqing were a country, it'd be in the top 50 by population. The municipality is roughly the size of Austria. Chongqing could lose 1 million people and still be one of Earth's biggest cities. Fact. Number 3, Russia and America are only 2.5 miles apart. At the Diomede Islands, you can see Russia from American soil. During winter, when the Bering Strait freezes, you could theoretically walk from America to Russia, though both governments strongly discourage this. During the Cold War, this was one of the most monitored borders on Earth. Fact number 2, Point Roberts, Washington can only be reached through Canada. Because the US-Canada border follows the 49th parallel exactly, this small peninsula got cut off. It's 5 square miles of American territory attached to mainland Canada. To drive from Point Roberts to the rest of Washington, you must cross through Canada twice. Kids living here cross international borders twice just to get to school. When COVID shut down borders, these 1,300 residents were basically stranded. Fact number 1, there's a Canadian highway where you're more likely to hit a moose than a car. The Trans-Labrador Highway stretches 700 miles through Labrador with almost no services. You can drive for hours without seeing another vehicle, but moose are everywhere, and they're massive. An adult moose weighs 1,500 pounds, and hitting one at highway speeds is often fatal for everyone involved. They'll just stand in the road staring at you like they're contemplating life. So there you have it, 30 geography facts that sound absolutely fake, but are 100% real. Which one shocked you the most? Drop a comment below. If you enjoyed this, smash that like button and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.